Well, Callum McGoldrick is with me now. He's spokesman for the Taxpayers Alliance and he's the investigations campaign manager. Callum, it's great to talk to you this afternoon. I don't know about you, but my jaw sort of dropped, but also kind of didn't when I read the front page of the Times and the Telegraph this morning, finding that Home Office incompetence dating back years allowed the cost of asylum hotel contracts to spiral. Providers made excessive profits at taxpayer expense. Fines for poor performance were applied late, if at all. There were failures of leadership at a senior level, and ministers wanting quick results made things worse. It's not a ringing endorsement, is it?
Well, Peter, thank you very much for having me on. It's absolutely not. I think this is obviously a fairly notable example, but it's a case of repeated civil service and government mess-ups. We see it that through infrastructure projects in particular, they tend to be quite bad at negotiating contracts. And I think what we've seen is profiteering here, and they've been quite frankly taking advantage of, which has in fact just meant that British taxpayers have been taken advantage of.
Yeah, and it's really interesting just on asylum hotels themselves. We have a clip now from Keir Starmer of his view on this huge and growing problem in our society. This is what the Prime Minister thinks.
We inherited a huge mess in relation to pretty well all departments in government, and that includes the Home Office. If you take the issue of asylum hotels, for example, we had years under the previous government where they didn't process claims. So tens of thousands of people didn't have their claims processed. They were then housed in hotels. That was the policy of the last government. There were 400 at the height of it. It's now about 200. I'm determined that we will close those hotels. We're processing the claims much more quickly, and where people have got no right to be in our country, we're removing them at a higher rate than the best part of a decade. So we're taking the action, but I can't tell you how frustrated and angry I am that we've been left with a mess as big as this by the last government.
Is it all the last government's fault, Callum?
I think part of it perhaps, but it's definitely not all their fault. When you look at the numbers, more people have crossed the channel in 2025 already than crossed last year, and Labour are only removing under 10,000 people a year. It's over 30,000 that are arriving a year via the channel alone. So you think, well, that would mean that there's more and more people increasing, and the spend on hotels is going up under Labour as well.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. Some of the numbers in all of this as well, just how much it costs for these hotels. The average cost, 32,000 migrants living in those 200 hotels, about 200 hotels the Prime Minister was talking about there, budgeted cost for £2.1 billion a year, or £145 per migrant per night. That's 6 times the cost of other housing. So if you put them in homes of multiple occupancy, which a lot of our viewers and listeners really don't want to happen, that costs what, about £32–35, something like that. This is a huge amount of money. Taxpayers are not getting value for money here, even when we do have these migrants in our country, which so many people think they shouldn't be here at all. What do you think in terms of the value for money aspect coming from the Taxpayers Alliance, Callum?
Well, I mean, only a third of asylum seekers are being housed in hotels, yet it's eating up 75% of the budget for that. So I think you do the maths and you see it's clearly not value for money. What we should be looking at is keeping them in short stay accommodation things before then either deporting them or moving them to a safe third country to process their claims there. We shouldn't be putting them up in hotels in some expensive areas, but also some not expensive areas of England. It's just not a good use of our taxpayers' money at all.
Callum, do you think the Home Office will get a grip on this? Will this report be the wake-up call that's needed, or will things just continue to be really bad in this area?
Unfortunately, Peter, I think things will only be getting worse. You know, this contract has been in place for quite a few years now, and they don't seem to be getting a hold of it. If anything, things seem to be getting worse.
Callum, thank you. That is Callum McGoldrick there. He's a spokesman for the Taxpayers Alliance.